Try that again. The first one got mysteriously taken down, but Green Day changed their lyrics at a New Year's Eve performance from redneck agenda to MAGA agenda and really ticked off conservatives in this country. But we're here to ask the question, since no one else will: is the outrage real? And does anybody actually mean what they say anymore? God bless you guys. Hope you enjoy the show. First off, I hope the show's even live because the last one wasn't. Dream Rare Podcast hopefully starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles.
What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? I believe that we're live. It looks good. I was talking to myself before. Yeah, YouTube just shut me down. I don't know. Of all the things I said, it's like Green Day. I don't think this is like really the biggest topic in the world, but looks good. I'm going to look at the comments now to make sure I'm not talking to myself. I do that enough. And I mean, technically I am doing it because you're here, but like you're not here. Like, isn't that kind of weird? I'm talking to you and you're like, oh, Anomaly's talking to me, but I'm just staring at a Logitech camera. It's very strange. But anyway, that's the world that we live in, isn't it, folks? We're going to talk about this story, and then I got some other stuff, and I'm going to try to make it comedic because if not, I'm just going to get pissed off, and nobody wants that, do they? So, no. Okay, thanks. I agree. So they went on television, and they performed their song, American Idiot. Good song, by the way. They say the word in the song, F-A-G-G-O-T. Those were the days when people used to drop that in rap songs and rock songs all the time. I think they said it ironically, but it still happened. Listen, I'm not hating. I'm just providing an accurate historical breakdown of the lyrics of that song. And in that song, at one point, they say, don't want to be an American idiot. One nation controlled by the media. That's a great line. The other one, they said, don't want to be an American idiot. Something about, I don't want to follow the redneck agenda. I forget what they say exactly, but something, the actual lyrics are redneck agenda. And they changed it to MAGA agenda to show the world that they oppose the MAGA agenda. Here's my first thought before I play my clip, which is awesome and in my view the best take of all of it. But redneck agenda is not necessarily less offensive than MAGA agenda. Like, that's what they said. I don't want to be a part of the redneck agenda. That's also like, yeah, I'm not you. I'm not conservative. I'm not right wing. I'm not a redneck. And it's like, okay, well, who's going to fix your car then? Because I know you're not. You're going to take it into the dealership and some redneck is going to fix your car. But no, jokes aside, they changed it. They got what they wanted. They knew the outrage was going to come. They knew the clicks. They knew the, oh my gosh, how dare you was going to come. And now everybody's dunking on Green Day. Cool. Don't care. They asked for it. With that being said, what I do care about is just the fact that all the outrage is like total nonsense, because a lot of the memes and things that people are saying, it doesn't even apply to their side. So it's like, if you say, oh, they're working for Pfizer and BlackRock. It's like, if your side also works with Pfizer and BlackRock, then you got to call it out. If you don't call it out when your side does it, and you just accuse Green Day of being Pfizer when your party literally took $1 million from Pfizer and works with Pfizer and bought Pfizer doses with government money, then who cares what you say? And this is my issue with like everything nowadays. It's like, yes, the left sucks. Green Day is who they've always been. With that being said, it's like I can't play along in the right-wing circus because none of it makes any sense to me. Here's my presentation in 1 minute and 30 seconds that apparently, really ticked a lot of people off and really impressed a lot of people. But this is my take of like the right-wing memosphere. Let me know what you guys think, and then I'm going to get to my spiel. So Green Day performed and changed their lyrics from redneck agenda to MAGA agenda and really ticked off conservatives. It led to this meme showing Green Day sucking the boot of big government Pfizer, Raytheon, and BlackRock. And while that's fine and I don't care, the weird part is MAGA doesn't seem to realize that all of those things apply to them and their leader, but the influencers that they follow and trust are either too stupid to realize it or too fake to tell you. Let's go through all of them. Pfizer. Trump took $1 million donation from Pfizer after saying he wouldn't take any corporate or donor money, hired hired a pharmaceutical executive, Alex Azar, to lead HHS, and a Pfizer board member, Scott Gottlieb, to run FDA. So keep sucking that boot, MAGA. Let's go to Raytheon. Oh, what do you know? Trump tapped former Raytheon lobbyists to lead the Pentagon. Of course he did. His entire cabinet was the swamp. How about BlackRock? They hit a record $6 trillion in assets held by Trump's tax law. Trump put Larry Fink, the CEO, on an advisory committee and sought advice from him during the pandemic. And when it comes to big government, the thing that Turning Point USA pretends to care about, Trump printed more money than Barack Obama, created new government agencies, ran up the deficit, bragged about it, and even during the pandemic said that the fake news was lying, that the governors made the decision to close their states and he took credit for it. And oh, by the way, that new FBI building that Trump wants to build, I bet you didn't know it was reported that business partners of him that own buildings with him and Kushner were in the running for that contract. So maybe that explains that. Anyway, enjoy all those fake Republican influencers that have created a business model of false paradigm controlled oppositions to keep you in the dark, run you in circles like a hamster, and then profit off your I don't know if it cut off the end. I said and profit off your outrage. So here's the thing. Dunk on Green Day all you want. I don't care. It's like they're against the MAGA agenda. If you consider yourself the MAGA agenda, be offended. I don't really care. This is the part that like annoys me. It's like all the right-wing influencers, they act like kindergartners and they're like, oh, yeah, keep sucking off Pfizer, Green Day. And it's like Donald Trump took $1 million from Pfizer, hired the pharmaceutical lobby for the HHS, hired a Pfizer board member for FDA who ran off the Pfizer afterwards to keep the revolving door policy open. And then he bought hundreds of millions of doses with taxpayer money, which is socialism. And he bought the Pfizer doses that were then, shoved down your throat in a million different ways. All I'm saying is like, who's more connected to Pfizer? Donald Trump, who took $1 million from them? You get what I'm saying? And bought their doses? Or Green Day, who changed their lyrics from redneck agenda to MAGA agenda? I dunk on them all you want. It is what it is. I'm just saying, it's like, it's all just like a fake outrage loop where everybody's like, oh, you just work with Raytheon. And it's like, they're pro Raytheon because they changed their lyric from redneck agenda to MAGA agenda. But Donald Trump's not pro Raytheon for hiring a Raytheon lobbyist to run the Pentagon. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. And here's the little trick. It's not supposed to make sense. Just like the liberals, they fight over Trump all day. They're useful idiots to bankers and high-level people that are obviously way above them. It's the same with the right. I know the Republican Party doesn't want to believe that they could be part of the little false paradigm, but they absolutely are. And it's just a joke. So it's like I'm looking at all these memes and I'm like, all of those things you're saying, applying them to Green Day, it doesn't even make sense because you're acting as if your guy doesn't do all those things. And here's another thing moving forward that I want to talk about. What is the MAGA agenda and what is MAGA? And is MAGA Trump or is MAGA Make America Great Again that's above Trump? It's got to be one or the other. Me personally, I don't care. I didn't, come up with the phrase. I don't think Trump did either. I think he rehashed old, brands and made it his own, which is fine. But MAGA means different things to different people. When I hear Green Day personally change their lyric from redneck agenda, I don't dislike rednecks and I don't consider myself against the redneck agenda. I'm not like a total redneck or anything, but I like rednecks. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But like Green Day, they've always been more liberal where they're like, I'm against the redneck agenda. It's like them changing it to MAGA agenda. It doesn't offend me because I don't even see that as I see that as an upgrade because like, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean by the MAGA agenda? Do you mean what Trump said he was going to do and what people wanted him to do or what he actually did? Because I think of like I used to think of like, oh, MAGA, like he's going to build the wall and, stop government spending and drain the swamp and lock her up or whatever. That's what I was hoping MAGA was personally, but it didn't end up being that. It's like Trump hired the swamp. He literally hired lobbyists for almost every position. He printed more money than Obama, and he doesn't seem even remotely economically conservative at all. The best he can offer is he's not Biden. And as they do that and people go, well, he's better than Biden. It's like they just keep moving the Overton window further left. So better than Biden means just like Biden 5 years ago. In fact, you could say that Biden 30 years ago pretended to be more conservative in many ways than most of the Republican Party is now. So when I hear that lyric personally, I don't mind it because I'm like, I kind of picture like, oh, whatever, they're liberal, don't care about their opinion anyway. They said redneck and I wasn't offended by that. But I don't see the MAGA agenda as what everyone wants it to be. I see it as what it is. So that's my question to you guys. Maybe I'll read a few comments before I move on. Is the MAGA agenda Trump? Is that the MAGA agenda? Like whatever he does, that's MAGA. 2016 to 2020 Trump, that's MAGA. Whatever he does moving forward, that's MAGA. Or is MAGA above Trump where it's like it's what everybody wants? Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Someone said, wait until the lights go out. Smug city slickers will change their opinion on rural folk. Agreed. I'm just trying to read a few opinions. Someone said green gay instead of Green Day. Someone said you're getting a DDoS attack. I don't think it's that serious, but hopefully not. For me, MAGA doesn't mean Trump, but I'm a libertarian. Someone said Green Day equals gay commies. Man, that's funny. But totally not hate speech. For me, let me see. It's MAGA Slav. So is it MAGA is Trump ideology? See here, and here's the other point I was going to make. It means different things to different people. Some people say it's the fifth element of like the satanic church. If you look up MAGA in the satanic church, it's actually one of the levels. Like if you go up enough levels in the satanic church, you become MAGA. That's true. Look it up. I believe I've researched it. It's been a while, but to some people, it obviously means Trump. Trump is MAGA. If he does this, it's MAGA. If he does this, it's MAGA. Some people say, like Bryson Gray makes the point, I think MAGA is above Trump. Yes, I like Trump and MAGA, but MAGA is bigger than Trump. It means make America great again. And if Trump drops the ball, then I don't have to go along with it to be MAGA. It's not clearly defined, which a lot of things in this world are not, including gender. That's why there's factually 10 billion of them, and Rachel Levine is totally a woman. But jokes aside, or not, jokes aside, depending how banned I want to get today. Thank you to my communist overlords. Thank you so much. Gender does not exist. My breathing is the reason for climate change. I promise I will try to breathe less in order to help the government take more of my tax dollars. Is that good? Did I clear the fact checkers or whatever? But totally not, jokes aside. I'm watching on Twitter, and I know everybody's not on Twitter, and it's a microcosm, but I see right-wing Twitter is breaking down. I'm going somewhere with this. Like everybody's fighting with each other. You got Trump people versus DeSantis people, MAGA people versus trad wives, and manosphere red pillars and Christians versus like conservative women who just want to show their titties and bake cakes or whatever. And it's all breaking down, right? Like I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but like the movement is breaking down. There's still a lot of people who like Trump. There's still a lot of conservatives. Not everyone's on Twitter, but like it's all breaking down. And in my view, it was always going to break down because it's not real. So just like with MAGA, it's like, what is the Republican Party? What is the Trump movement? I've come to the conclusion, I'm not being hateful. I'm not being negative. I'm not a black pillar. I've just come to the conclusion over the last 4 years, it doesn't have to do with what Turning Point pretends it is. Like it has nothing to do with small government or big government. It doesn't have to do with economics. In my view, it doesn't even have to do with social conservatism. I mean, some people are very pro-choice or they have certain policies, but the Trump movement to me has nothing to do with anything but Trump. And I'm not hating on that. Maybe you like Trump. Maybe you don't care about stuff, but I've noticed this, and it's based on pattern recognition. It's like, okay, so is this a movement? Do people like Trump because they like small government? It's like in theory, maybe, but really, if he expands the government, then people don't care. If he goes socially left-wing, like if he's at a pro-life rally and he's like, oh, life begins at conception, everyone's like, yeah, that's awesome. Who cares if we lose votes? That's a baby's life on the line. But then if Trump goes on MSNBC and he's like, I don't think governors should have, done a heartbeat bill. I don't think that's a good idea. Then people go, yeah, fuck those kids. No, I'm just kidding. Excuse my language. But it's like, they're like, that's fine because we want to win the election. So it's like, and I'm not saying everybody, some people do have their convictions, but it's like, is it a pro-life or a pro-choice movement? Depends who Trump's talking to. Is it a big or small government? It depends who he's talking about. Is it about this? It's like, it's about him. It's about liking him. It's about worshiping him. It's about going to Mar-a-Lago and hanging out with him. And, like that's what it is. So with MAGA, I just assume that it's about Trump. Like, yeah, I know make America great again is a great phrase and it's not just him, but that's his brand at this point. So when Green Day said, I'm not with the MAGA agenda, I'm like, I don't think I am either, because I'm not into pharmaceutical scams and Trump selling his cabinet out to Mitch McConnell's wife, Raytheon, foreign countries, and taking donor money after he said he didn't. And then a bunch of people yell at me when I point that out, which is what happens every time I point it out. People are like, oh, remember when you used to wear a MAGA hat? It's like, no, I literally never wore one. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with wearing a MAGA hat. Wear 15 of them if you want. I don't look at the MAGA hat as terrible. I think it's fine, and I think it shouldn't be bullied. But with that being said, yeah, of course, I remember when I made content that I agreed with Trump. It would be like if I didn't smoke crack and I was like sober, and you're like, I love that Anomaly's sober and I like him because he has a level head. And then if I started smoking crack, your responsibility is not to say Anomaly's not a crackhead because he wasn't a crackhead 3 years ago. You're allowed to be like, hey, I like Anomaly, but he smokes crack now. But when I used to, make videos about how awesome he was, he didn't smoke crack. That's an extreme example, but like, I'm a man. I'm not like a fan. I'm not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I respect myself. So when I was making videos defending Trump, go watch them. Do they still make sense? I would assume that probably 95% of them still make sense. I defended him against lies from the media. I talked about his policies. I said the Democrats should like prison reform because it's more of a liberal policy, which it is. And Trump did a lot of stuff for liberals that they never appreciated. With that being said, once I realized Trump and DeSantis were passing speech laws, I talked about it and everyone got mad at me. It's like, oh, I thought it was about the First Amendment. 2019, I realized it's not about the First Amendment. It's about like the party. And I'm like, well, I don't agree with that. And then 2020 was crazy and I didn't agree with any of it. And a lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't. But long story short, the reason that my opinion on Trump changed is I believe that his actions changed. I gave him a pass for a lot of stuff the first 3 years because the liberals were lying about him. You know what I'm saying? The media was corrupt and patience, let's give the guy 4 years. Let's see what he does. I ended up being wildly unimpressed because I feel like he imploded the economy. He handed our country over to the pharmaceutical industry and he is completely unapologetic about it. So I'm not really like as big of a fan as I was 3 years ago because he's not the same person in my view that he was, or maybe he was always that and I didn't see it. Either way, when people come to me and they say, oh, you used to say this. What did I used to say? Go look at what I used to say. It probably still makes sense. Listen to what I'm saying now. It also makes sense. What part of that do you not get? Like, are you a 5-year-old? So long story short, I don't care. I wasn't offended by the lyrics because whatever MAGA's doing now, I don't know what they're doing. So it's like, whatever. He said redneck agenda and I didn't care about that. Like he doesn't like the redneck agenda. Yeah, he's like a effeminate, he paints his nails black and he's like a punk rocker. Like I don't go to him for like how to be a man. Going to Billy Joe Armstrong for how to be a man, conservative man would be like going to Joe Biden for how to be a young guy who doesn't stutter. Like it's not his expertise. With that being said, I'm all for people being upset at Green Day. I don't really give a shit. Honestly, it's like they said it, they could face the backlash. But nobody's making sense. I'm not saying nobody, but a lot of people that I'm seeing, they're like, oh, they're sold out to Pfizer. Trump sold out to Pfizer. Literally, he took $1 million from Pfizer. Oh, well, I don't care. Well, then who cares what you say if you don't make sense? Why does anybody listen to these people? It's like none of it makes sense. I'm going to give you one example real quick from Charlie Kirk, who is a nice, young man. Anyway, that was weird. I was trying to like make a joke out of it, but then I kind of ran out of room. But, he's a nice guy. He was really upset at all the Republicans who wanted to build the FBI building. And Trump also wants to build a new FBI building. I pointed out in that video, apparently a business partner of him and Jared Kushner, who he's built buildings with, is leading or one of the leaders to get that contract. So just like when Joe Biden wants to benefit his friends or Gavin Newsom wants to benefit his friends, Trump does the same stuff. It's just nobody wants to talk about it. So I just want to show you how mad Charlie Kirk was at Republicans who wanted to build a new FBI building because a bunch of Trump supporters are rotting in prison. And I believe that the FBI has a massive anti-Christian, anti-conservative, anti-Trump supporter bias. That's my opinion. I wish they didn't, but I think they do. Here's what he said before Trump said what he said. I wonder if he'll have the same energy with Trump. Spoiler alert. He absolutely won't. So who cares what he says? Here we go. He tweeted just literally a month ago, he said 70 Republicans voted to give the FBI $300 million to build a new headquarters larger than the Pentagon. On the same day, the DOJ announces it's prosecuting 3 men from running D.C. area brothels frequented by politicians. Coincidence? Or did the FBI just blackmail members of Congress with sex crimes they don't want to be made public? It's a great point. I mean, Charlie Kirk's accusing them of being blackmailed. And then he tweets, these 16 Republican members of Congress voted to fully fund the FBI and reward them with a brand new headquarters in Washington, D.C. He names all of them. And then he says, we do not have an opposition party. So according to Charlie Kirk, we don't have an opposition party. I would even go as far as to suggest he's saying the opposition's controlled. It's a controlled opposition party. They're voting to fund the FBI with a brand new headquarters in Washington. And that's unacceptable to Charlie Kirk. He says they probably got blackmailed. Well, guess what? Charlie Kirk's sugar daddy, Donald Trump, literally just did what they all did. Is Charlie Kirk going to say Trump's blackmailed? No. Is Charlie Kirk going to say Trump's controlled opposition because he said that they were controlled opposition? No. So what's the point of listening to someone that doesn't believe what they say? What does Charlie believe? Whatever he has to believe to be in good favors of Trump, like everybody around Trump. So it's like he has this really harsh energy for, oh, these Republicans want to build a new FBI building. They're corrupt. They're controlled opposition. They're blackmailed. Hey, Trump just said that, Charlie. Are you going to say that to Trump? Oh, no, heavens no. Then who cares what you say, bro? That's like everything. It's like, oh, Green Day sold out to Pfizer. What about Trump? I don't want to talk about it. Okay. And then people start getting mad at me. Who do you want to vote for? It's like, I don't care. Go vote for Trump. I don't care. I mean, it makes more sense than Biden, I think. But why do I don't get it. Do you want me to just like play make believe? It's so weird. And I talked about this on an Instagram live stream quite aggressively, but I'm going to mention it again because as you're running circles around Trump, just like the left's running circles around Trump, and you think you're better than the left because they're so bad, and they think that they're better than you because you're so bad, it's just two pawns in the chess set. You guys are just different pawns with different colors, and both of you have too big of egos to realize that you're pawns, and everybody gets so mad. Oh, I posted something on Joe Rogan's page making fun of them saying stop breathing, essentially, for climate change, or whatever the hell they said, and people were like, oh, you probably suck off Trump or whatever, and they're getting so mad at me, and it's like, they're so used to hypocrites on the right that they just assume I'm another hypocrite. And they're not wrong. Most right-wingers are hypocrites, and right-wingers are not wrong. Most left-wingers are hypocrites, but they're both the same hypocrite. And then they sit online and they fight with each other all day, just like Trump and DeSantis supporters. I want to give an example real quick of a post I saw. People are living in two different realities. And as somebody that's not on Trump's dick or DeSantis's dick, I have the discernment to be like, okay, Trump supporters are right there. DeSantis supporters are right there. Because the truth is they're both acting like 5-year-old babies and they both lie constantly for their guy. So I want to bring this point up, and you could look it up yourself. Trump had some Mar-a-Lago party, right? By the way, he looks super old. I saw a picture, like he's 77 years old, guys. Joe Biden's what, 81? The dude is way too old. Joe Biden shouldn't run. But to be honest, Trump shouldn't run either. He's getting old and delusional too, but we can all just pretend like he's not. He looks super old. But anyway, there's two different videos, or I'm sorry, the same video in two different takes. Someone took a video of Trump reacting, or just like they took a 20-second video of like Vanilla Ice, right? I'm getting to somewhere with this. I promise it's going to matter. And Vanilla Ice is performing Ice Ice Baby on stage, right? And the camera pans to Trump, and they zoom in on Trump for like 15 seconds, him just like listening to Vanilla Ice, right? This guy, ALX, I like ALX. He's like friends with Elon Musk. He's a big Trump guy. I think he's like works with Benny Johnson, whatever. ALX has always been nice to me. I never met him in person, but I have nothing bad to say about the guy. God bless him, right? He writes some caption that says, look, oh my God, Trump's having so much fun or whatever. Like Trump's like, I'll find the exact thing he said so I don't paraphrase it. I guess I don't have it, but he was like, Trump's loving it. He's loving this performance. And then there's this guy like Peter Heimlin or some name. He's like a DeSantis supporter. And he said, Trump looks miserable listening to Vanilla Ice. So there's two different realities. Like Trump supporters are sharing this video being like, Trump's loving Vanilla Ice. He's having a great time. And then the DeSantis supporters are looking at the video and being like, oh, he looks miserable. So I watched the video myself. I'm like, I'm not 5 years old. I can make my own decisions. Okay. So I watched the video, and literally Trump just stands there for 10 seconds looking pissed off. Like he doesn't have a smile on his face. He's not bopping his head. It would be like if music was playing and I was standing here like this. Would you be like, oh, Anomaly's loving the music. He's crazy. Like, listen, I don't care whether Trump cheers or not, but like if you screenshotted and I showed you a picture, he doesn't look happy. He's not smiling, and he's not moving, and he's not dancing, and he's not even like moving his arm to the beat. Like he looks like he's completely unenthused with the music. With that being said, I don't care. It doesn't matter. the point that I'm getting to is like people like Trump so much, they're acting like he's dancing. And then people in the comment section were like, yeah, this is how Trump's reacting. And they're sharing memes of him like dancing. And I'm like, he's literally standing there with a frown on his face, which doesn't matter. It's just like, if you can't tell the truth about that, you'd be like, maybe he's having fun, but he's not showing it on his face. Maybe internally he's having fun, or he took a break. Like, just be honest about it. It doesn't matter whether he's dancing or not, or having fun or not. But if you're willing to lie about that, which all the Trump supporters I was following did, what else are you willing to lie? Like, you're living in this cosplay reality where the dude's just standing there, like not even smiling. And you're like, look, he's moving. And it's like, he's not, though. He's like literally not. It doesn't matter. But like, why are people lying so much? It's so weird. It's so weird to me. I can't get out of it. So with all this stuff, that's kind of my take with right-wing Twitter and how it's like breaking down. The reason, in my opinion, is it's breaking down because people don't agree on anything. Like, it's become a movement of just worshiping Trump. So you have women who are liberal women who don't have any conservative values. They just want to hang out with conservative men the same way, like, you go to a country concert. Like, you know, like some people go to Coachella and listen to rappers and EDM people, and some people get drunk and go to, you know, what's the Coachella called for country? I got to look it up real quick. Stagecoach. I think it's called Stagecoach. So it's like Coachella Valley has two concerts, one for the rap fans and the rock fans and the EDM fans, and then they have one for the country fans. That's like politics. You think you're getting something different. Oh, we're in a totally different place. You're not. They just repurpose it. Here's the country version. Here's the rap version. Go knock yourself out, folks. We're making money off both of you. Nothing wrong with it. I like concerts. I'm a musician, obviously. But that's like the MAGA movement is like, it's like girls going to Stagecoach. So as soon as conservative values start being brought up, and whether you're on this side or this side, I don't care. But it's like, okay, you know, should women put their titties out and big cakes? Who cares? But like the woman's like, I don't think I'm conservative anymore. It's like, and then she's like, why are you sexualizing me? It's like, you put them out and then like baked a cake and it would be like if I wore short shorts and I had jacked legs and I showed them in a video and people were like, you have nice legs. To be honest, people today were saying, like, multiple women hit me up and were like, oh, you look good. You look strong. You look like you've been working out. Your hair looks good. It's like, I didn't even think I was showing off in my Instagram video. I don't think I was, but it is what it is. Like, they saw that based on what I showed in my video. And imagine if I'm like, oh, you're just sexist. It's about my brain, not about my hair. It's about my brain, not about my body. It's like, it is what it is. I don't care, you know, but like these women, they're like, oh, I don't want to be in the Republican Party anymore. Because what was it to you? It was like you were just dunking on the left and dunking on OnlyFans chicks and, you know, hanging out at Mar-a-Lago and hanging out with Don Jr. That's what the Republican Party is to a lot of people. So as soon as that all breaks down, they're like, I'm leaving. Because it was never about the values. It was never about pro-life or pro-choice or the economy. Like, none of that matters to most of these people. And I've called it out for 3 years. I'm not being a hater. I'm just a pattern recognizer, an analyst. I'm trying to be honest and accurate to the best of my ability. I'm not trying to put business above authenticity. I'm not trying to put social circles above authenticity. And other people are doing that. So I'm saying they're doing that. That's a fact. Whatever. People get mad. So it's all breaking down now because it was never based on anything real. It was always based on just, let's hang out and get drunk like we're going to Stagecoach. Let's just act like fans for Don Jr. Like some of the posts that people are posting now, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to Trump's playlist. It's like, I'm not mad at you, but you view Trump like Taylor Swift. Like, it's like Swifties, you know? Never say anything bad about Taylor Swift or Beyonce, the Bayhive or whatever they call themselves. They're like, oh, Beyonce's my queen. It's like, all right, dude, Beyonce, she did great at the halftime performance. Taylor Swift, you know, she's got the one song about Romeo, take me somewhere. Cool. You know, white people like to get drunk and sing it. I'm sure other ethnicities do too, but I'm just a pattern recognizer. It seems like white people like that song more. All right, no joke. I went on a cruise one time and they kept playing different songs. I've never seen like segregation like this. It wasn't forced. It was like by choice. I've never seen this. I've gone to like probably hundreds of venues and dance and stuff. I love dancing, right? I've never noticed like huge racial disparity or anything, but it was like they played Taylor Swift and all the white people came out and they started saying like, and all the black people like went, they went and sat down and then they played some like rap song and like everyone got up and all the white people sat down. It happened like 5 times and I was like, yo, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like it, but it was hilarious. Anyway, It's like, that's how a lot of people view Trump. It's like a Taylor. So like, oh my gosh, I listen to the same song. He likes Frank Sinatra. I like Frank Sinatra. It's like, so then when, Christian adults and men start having like an intellectual debate about, what a Christian nation or not a Christian nation, an American conservative nation should look like, the women, they're like, oh, you hate me. Oh my gosh, you're sexist. Oh my gosh, this isn't for me. It's like, because they thought it was stagecoach. You know what I'm saying? It was never like Trump. It doesn't matter whether the economy's small, big, he prints no money, deficit, inflation. It's about like his playlist and like hanging out and wearing hot shirts. I'm not going to say, but I don't want to say, but somebody, in that space, they're posting like New Year's Eve pictures. Nothing wrong with it. Show off. I don't care. I'm not a hater, but they got some big old fakies and they're just throwing them out there and everyone's like commenting like, would you wear that around your kids? And it's like, it's not about their kids. They're hot and they're just showing off how hot they are. And they want people to look at them. Like, you think it's about all these things. It's not like, it's like, is the government going to get bigger or smaller? Who cares? Just go to Trumpchella, hang out. And then once everything starts breaking down, people are like, I'm going to go, it would be like if I'm like, I don't like Trump's personality, I'm going to vote for the other side. It's like, no, they got to win me over with some sort of policy. But that's what happens when you turn politics into TMZ. Like, that's what it is. Everybody's fighting, their drama, they're throwing each other's DMs all over the place. They're calling each other whores. It's like, it's all breaking down because it was always fake to begin with. And I figured this out in 2019 when once Trump and DeSantis passed anti-Semitism speech laws, and I read the speech laws and I realized that they were normalizing hate speech laws in America. And I spoke about it. I got blacklisted. You don't have to believe me. That's what happened. I know it happened because I have friends at every company and they tell me things. But in general, it's like, I was like, wait, I thought we believed in the First Amendment. And they're like, no, Zionist speech laws go above the First Amendment. I was like, whoa. And then I talked about it and then they called me anti-Semitic. And then I talked about it peacefully and respectfully again. And I was like, I just don't agree with this from a First Amendment perspective. And then a right-wing publication wrote about me. And then it ended up in Israeli publications and CNN. So then I'm like, oh, it literally is controlled opposition. Like, literally the right-wing media is working with the left-wing media. And it's just like on the left. It's like, if you go against the left-wing narrative in your left wing, they'll throw you to the curb faster than other people will. And then the right will have to pick you up off the street. It's the same thing with right-wing media. If you don't play along with the humiliation ritual and the false lies that they're selling you, and you actually believe in the policies they claim to, they literally like toss you up like a sacrificial lamb to left-wing media to destroy you. It's like they're working together. I know it. I've seen it. It happened to me. You don't have to believe me. I don't give a shit. I really don't. It's like, we were like, I'm unfollowing you. Cool. I don't like what you say. I don't care. I'm trying to tell the truth. If you don't want to hear it or you don't believe it's true, you can go to lie to yourself. But with the Green Day thing, to wrap it all up, then I'll read some comments. I wasn't personally offended by the lyric, but they asked for it. People responded. And it's like the responses, everybody's like, oh, if you say, I don't like Green Day because they're shitting on MAGA and it's played out and everyone's done it and it's corny and it's corporate and it's just stupid. I agree. It was corny and stupid and lame. And it's like, when a MAGA agenda, cool. You got what you wanted. If you say that, I'll agree with you. If you sit and say, oh, if you're against the MAGA agenda, you're with Pfizer. Trump's literally with Pfizer. He hired a Pfizer board member. He hired an Eli Lilly lobbyist to run HHS. He took $1 million from Pfizer. He completely went 180 on the policy he ran on and talked about. He's not stupid. He just sold out. And then he bought hundreds of millions of Pfizer doses. I mean, Trump is more complicit with Pfizer than Travis Kelce and Green Day combined, but nobody wants to talk about it. So you're fake. I don't know what to tell you. Like, oh, if you're against MAGA, you're with Pfizer. How, when MAGA's with Pfizer? Like, Trump had a meeting in 2018 with Bill Gates and then passed what he said through executive order in 2019. Like, you guys are with Bill Gates and you don't even know it. It's like, and then I talk about it and you get mad. Then go somewhere else. Go play fantasy with some other losers. I don't care. I voted for Trump in 2020. I made 100 videos saying he was innocent of the persecution of the left. But then I figured out what they're doing, and they just create this constant fake outrage loop to make both sides useless. And I'm saying it now. So it's like, it is what it is, That's my take on it. And it's like every time the left does something cringe, the right just does something fake and cringe too. And when the right does something fake and cringe, the left responds with something faker and cringer. And that's the whole left right wing paradigm. Fake and cringe. Both sides are, it's like it's just like a constant loop going nowhere. And I'm just trying to unravel it and make jokes about it because it's funny to me. And also, I think it helps people once they get off the outrage loop because it's stressful. It's stressful thinking that you can't figure out why. It's like the FBI is persecuting you with the guy that Trump hired. The FBI is persecuting you, but Donald Trump wants to buy them a bigger building. The FBI is persecuting you, and they should have never have the power to spy warrantlessly on Americans, but Ted Cruz just voted for warrantless spying on Americans, and then Charlie Kirk, who claims to care about it, put him on a stage and made him look like a rock star and said nothing about it. And Charlie Kirk, who cries about the FBI and their new building that they're getting, won't say anything to Trump when he does it. So it's just true that it's all fake and dumb. If you want to join the fake dumb circus and lie to yourself, you could do it. If you don't believe what I'm saying, I don't care. I'm not begging for people's I want the respect of timeless stuff. When I said that they were doing mandatory injections in 2019, that sounded crazy. And then it happened in 2021. When I said at the beginning of the pandemic that all these things were going to happen and then they all happened, you can go back to the comment from March and everyone's like, oh, you just hate Trump. I said facts that people didn't want to hear a year before they happened, and they said it was hate speech. It's like the left believes the truth is hate speech. Say the truth about the GOP and Trump, and they'll call it hate speech too. Oh, you're just jealous of Trump. Oh, yeah, I'm so jealous. I wish I could take money from Pfizer. I probably could take money from Pfizer if I tried hard enough, but I'm not a sellout. I would feel guilty as an American taking money from a pharmaceutical company that I used to criticize and then shilling them and buying their doses. You think I'm jealous of that? I want to sell out to Pfizer. I want to hire pharmaceutical lobbyists. You think that's what I want? Why would I want that? I mean, Trump's a cool guy. There's other things if you're an envious person to be envious of, but that's not one of them. And I'm not an envious person. I'm the main character in my life. I'm not a professional fan. God made me and you to be me and you. Be yourself, like other people, respect them, but make them earn your respect. Everyone likes Michael Jordan because he was the best. If Michael Jordan sucked, you wouldn't think he was Michael Jordan. It's like, if politicians do what they do, you don't have to pretend like they didn't do it. It doesn't help. Someone said you spoke the truth anomaly and people only hear what they want to hear. Yeah, I'm not apologizing for it for 1 second. Just like when the whole media did the whole press thing, I'll apologize when I'm sorry. If I get angry one day and say something super rude, then I'll be like, yo, my bad. I didn't mean that. What did I say? I meant everything I said, and I'll say it again. I don't care how many articles they write about it. What do you think? I'm going to lie just in order to get somebody to stop writing something? I'll never do that. It's not happening. Let me see. Someone said Pfizer owes cereal. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Pfizer owes cereal, mRNA cereal kits. It tastes better than it feels injected. Oh, fact check, false. There is no Pfizer owes cereal. I know, dweebs. I'm joking. It's a joke. Calm down, censors. The Pfizer it's a bit. Just a bit. Calm down. Someone said freedom of speech. Please cut your hair, bro. Maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe one day. I did cut it shorter, but I'll keep going till it's all gone and I'm bald and I make you feel good. Let me see. Someone said Trump 2024 ride his dick straight to the gulag. I mean, at this point, I think I'll vote for Trump if he wins the nominee, even though I do think he's a scammer. I do think he's a liar. I do think he's too old. And I believe everything I've said about him. Biden's border is too open. Trump, by default, will do a slightly better job at minimum. But the job doesn't stop there for Americans. You got to let them, if they're allowed to move the Overton window, and it's like there used to be 10 illegal immigrants. Now there's 100,000, and now there's 1 million. Now there's 10 million. If Trump gets in, he's going to let in 500,000. And if Biden gets in, he's going to let in 3 million. Do you get it? They don't care who wins because even if you win, you're still losing. The amount of illegals coming through under Trump is still astronomically too high. That's how they operate with everything. Free speech, economy. They move the Overton window. It doesn't matter who wins. And then they convince you that, you get mad at people like me that point it out. So it's like, I'll still vote for these losers because they're better losers than the other losers, but I'm not going to sit and act like they're Taylor Swift and I'm a Swiftie. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an American citizen, and it's our job to be like, no, you're not doing enough. Our country's just factually not going to be saved at that pace. That's how the media and the Democrats and the powers that be operate. They control both sides. They pay off both sides. They create this like gatekeeper atmosphere where you get people that sound like they're saying things you want to say. And I talked about it a little bit in my other podcast, but it was at the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to talk about it here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know who Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be. Only he knows, or only God knows. So I hope Vivek Ramaswamy is everything he says he's going to be. And honestly, he seems more promising than others, but I've seen it before. I'm just curious because he's saying all these things that people want him to say, and I hope he does certain things. Is he just a funnel back to Trump? Because what's he going to do? He's always been there just to funnel people back to Trump, just like Bernie was there to funnel people back to Hillary. To me, at this point, believing in Trump is as dumb as believing in Bernie Sanders. Like, if you believed in Bernie Sanders in 2015, 2016, understandable. If you still believed in him in 2018, very suspect. If you still believe in Bernie Sanders in 2020, you're an idiot. Like, he already showed you who he was. He said a bunch of things. He funneled you back to Hillary. He meant nothing about the political revolution. And then he cried about establishment talking points that he never talked about before. I think the same thing about Trump at this point, where it's like, it's okay if people made mistakes, but at this point, if you don't think he's in on it, so like, just like Bernie just funneled people to Hillary, it seems like Vivek is funneling all these people who realize Trump is kind of falling short on every topic, literally. And then he's just going to tell you to vote for Trump as soon as he drops out, because that's always been his plan. So it's like, I wonder if Vivek is there to push Trump in the right direction, or if he's just there to funnel people to Trump. Like, I hope he does what he says, but he's not going to be president. So what's he going to do? Where's he going to, like, what, like, maybe he could be an advisor or something. But these are things that I think, because I've already seen it happen before. I wonder if that's his role, or if he's there just to play ball and move Trump on certain policies. Either way, I wish him luck, obviously, and I hope he does. Someone said Ramaswamy is the real McCoy. Who's Ramaswamy? Are you talking about Ronna Romney McDaniel or no? Someone said lefty wankers. Oh, those lefty wankers. They always steal my cricket. I'm trying to do it. That was a terrible impression. Just ignore it. Someone said the Anomaly Vivek interview was hot. And you'll probably never see an interview like that again. I appreciate you. The Zionist media, essentially. Can I say Zionist media? Because that's like literally what it was. I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but it was. They made sure after that to try to just destroy my credibility. And every time I ever get a big interview, they're going to reference that and try to call me anti-Semitic. So even though we didn't bring up anything Jewish or anything Israel, the Zionist media ran with the narrative that I'm a anti-Semitic YouTube channel. And that's where Vivek was going, because people who want to make American politicians do more for Israel will call you anti-Semitic if you say that they're doing that. So that's really what happened. But in general, it's like, I hope people enjoyed that interview. You'll probably never get an interview like that again. They'll probably never let me get a big interview ever again. And then they're going to pressure me and harass me and lie about me and defame me. And then if I defend myself accurately, they're going to just keep hammering the anti-Semitism talking points. And that totally proves that they have zero control over everything, right? Someone said you're overthinking it. I'm not overthinking it, though. You're underthinking it. I'll give you an example. There's two theories, right? When it comes, there's multiple theories, but I see people all the time. They write in my comment section. They say, you don't understand. Trump got tricked. He got fooled. He got fooled by his advisors. He got fooled by the swamp. He got fooled by the Republicans. He got fooled. That's one theory, right? Trump got fooled. He's totally different now. If you're smart and you really don't have a bias, it's more likely that you got fooled and not him. It's very unlikely that he got fooled by Mitt Romney and fooled by Lindsey Graham and fooled by the pharmaceutical industry. He just mistakenly took money from them and mistakenly hired them. Like, that's not what happened at all. Like, it's stupid. It's a stupid theory. But that's the main theory in MAGA world. So people just tell themselves that that's what it is. And then if you realize that that's not what it is, like, why would Trump want to build the FBI a new building? Why would he want to do that? When you realize the guy who's going to get the contract has done business with him and Kushner, it makes a lot more sense, since his supporters are being persecuted by the FBI. But if you just say, oh, you're overthinking it, you're underthinking it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not overthinking it. Another thing that I talked about on my live stream that I wanted to get to, and I don't want to give people any advice. This is not medical advice. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but the experts who tell you everything, right? The experts that you just love and trust, when you have a newborn baby boy in this country, whether you're liberal or conservative, and most conservative parents do this, they do two things. They tell you your baby is disease prone. Your baby's going to get a bunch of diseases. So you got to do this. And they say your baby's, part of his foreskin is it's going to trap dirt, and you got to, you got to mutilate your kid's genitals. And that's what most parents do as soon as their kid's born. Am I overthinking this too? They mutilate their kid's genitals without their kid's permission. They chop off a part of his penis, and then they inject them with a bunch of vaccines that the pharmaceutical industry has no liability for side effects and injuries. And then they kick you off social media if you suggest that it ever even happened. So is that overthinking it? And if I say that, does that bother you? Do conservative parents or liberal parents, do they even do 10 minutes of research before they put their kids, or do they just trust the experts? They just trust the experts. But then they get mad at me for talking about Trump. So it's like, who cares what parents think that don't even do 15 minutes of research to figure out whether they should mutilate their kids' genitals or not and shove 15 pharmaceutical instruments into them because the experts told them to, right? But I'm crazy, right? Not the parents doing that, not the millions of people who don't think about it. I'm the crazy one for talking about it, right? I'm overthinking it. It's like Americans underthink everything, and that's why their country's getting conquered. And they're doing all this messed up stuff all the time. They don't think twice about it. And then they just cry like little babies when you shatter their false paradigm. It's like they're professional Taylor Swift fans. They just want to like drink beer, go to galas and hang out with Trump and cry when you talk about lobbying money. It's like, that's what the Republican Party is. It's just a giant controlled opposition hangout. It doesn't have to be. It could be a real movement if people had the same energy they have with everyone else with Trump, but they don't. So it is what it is, And it's like, people will get more mad that Green Day said MAGA agenda than they will the fact that millions of conservative parents are, without even thinking about it, doing that to their kids when they're born. You think God's going to favor your country? You think God likes America now? Like, why? You who are the experts? Is it Rachel Levine at the health department or wherever she were? Like, we're a mockery. Who? At this point, obviously America has to defend themselves, but like all this like Republican Zionist psyop of like, oh, it's Iran and China. It's like, yeah, I'm not a fan of Iran or China, but it's like, do you have even an ounce of self-awareness of your own country? No? Like, then who can, it's like, oh, it's them. Maybe we should focus on us. Maybe that's what MAGA would have been great if it was like, make America great again. But if you say you want to make America great again, they say you're hateful and both sides yell at you. It's like, we need to fix ourselves and then America can be great again. But if we never fix ourselves, it doesn't matter what China or Iran or anyone does, because, and when it comes to Iran, just to be clear, you can find videos. They've been wanting to start a war with them for 30 years. So it's like, just wait for something to happen. And they're going to be like, oh, now we got to do what we've always wanted to do to Iran. And we're going to do it now. And now we have the justification. And who's going to fall for it? Everyone. And who's going to promote it? Every Republican. And who's going to question it? No one. And what word they're going to call you if you question it? The word that they call you when you realize that Trump and DeSantis passed speech laws. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm at the point now, I understand it. I'm under fierce, I would say, scrutiny and smear campaigns because I understand it. And if Republicans aren't smart enough to figure it out, I might just stop talking about it because there's no reason for me to talk about it. What am I risk everything that I have for what? For a bunch of mouth drooling, Trump worshipers to scream at me and loser men to cry in my comment section that were like my biggest fans 2 weeks ago and act like this is the first time I've said what I've said and I've said it for the last 3 years. Why would I risk everything for a group of people that doesn't even like what I'm saying? It's like, go eat your MAGA slop. Go believe Charlie Kirk. I don't care anymore. Like, if that's what you want to do, go do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting all my stuff on the line for a group of people that hates the truth. Like, you think you like the truth because you hate liberals? You haven't even thought twice about what you're doing to newborn baby boys in this country. But I'm the crazy one. Respect is earned, not given. So let me see. Obviously, healthcare meant abortions and birth control. The vaccine part is harder to, In general, listen, there's a lot of great things that American health does, but there's a lot of things you can't say. I mean, I just got my video deleted from 5 years ago on YouTube because I was talking about vaccines. This was before the pandemic. I was talking about a thing that you can't say that vaccines caused. And in my view, I wasn't even saying outright that it was true. I just said you can't say that or they'll delete your video, and then they deleted my video. So it's like you can't even say that they do that. It's like there's certain topics where it's like you can't say that vaccines cause that. I wasn't even saying it was true. I was just saying it's like if you can't say it, but you also can't sue the pharmaceutical industry for it. So it's like there's no legal recourse for you because they're protected under the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. And that's something that everyone should understand. And another sellout scammer, Ronald Reagan, who everybody likes, he was a nice guy, but just like Trump, he scammed conservatives or just was a total puppet. He passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Before that, you could sue the vaccine industry if your child was injured from a vaccine. After that, every childhood vaccine is now protected from lawsuit for liability for side effects, injuries, and deaths. And then they created the VAERS reporting to track vaccine injuries, which now the same people who created it pretend like it's an Alex Jones conspiracy theory, which is odd because they literally created it to track vaccine injuries after they took away liability. Once they did that, as RFK often explains, the childhood vaccine rate that they're giving your kids increased dramatically because now it's a cash cow and they don't have liability for it. And most conservative parents don't even think about it. And they don't think about whether or not they should mutilate their kids' genitals without their permission. They just think that it's clean for them. It's like your kid's dirty, chop their dick off. Your kid's dirty, inject them with vaccines. Your kid's dirty. It's like your kid's going to get sick. You got to do all these things. The baby's just crying and screaming and bleeding. And it's like, oh yeah, don't think about it. Don't overthink it, Patriots. Just go home and watch Turning Point USA on your Daily Wire account. It's like, if you can't even figure this stuff out and you can't even have a thought process about this, you're just as big of a joke as the left. You're just as evil as the left. Like, think about it. That's all I'm saying. Think about it. I'm not telling people what to do. Think about it for 15 minutes, the same way you spend 15 minutes crying when I point out that Trump took $1 million from Pfizer. If you can't, I don't respect you. I don't care if you unfollow me. It's like, this equivalent to me, like going to San Francisco and telling them that San Francisco is dirty. Yeah, it's dirty. It's disgusting. I would never want to live there. I don't even travel there. I don't care if I get booked there. I'll decline it. Like, enjoy your hellhole. That's how I feel about, certain Republicans. It's like, if you can't figure certain stuff out, you can cry. You can lie about me. You can make false equivalencies. You could be a grown man. This one guy who's a fighter coach who's like crying like a little baby in the comment section claiming, oh, you remember when you used to say this? Like, bro, you're an intellectual toddler compared to me. Don't even try. I'll like make you look like a child in a debate, stick to what you're good at. It's not this. In general, it's like, this is the thanks I get for pointing stuff out. People cry and then they just keep doing that to their children, but they're the good ones, right? Because they watch, low IQ content, making fun of liberals all day and then just focus on that. You focusing on that is the same way the left just focuses on you. The left feels inferior, so they have to feel superior by just making like, oh, working out is bad for you. No, Derek, you're just a scrawny loser. Work out and have some self-respect. It doesn't matter what you do to yourself. Like, they're like, oh, working out is too far right. No, you hate yourself. So instead of showing some self-love and taking some self-accountability, you just hate on, conservatives and rural people all day. And it makes you feel better about yourself because you find the least impressive people on the right and just bash on them. It would be like me going to Walmart and seeing a fat person and being like, well, I guess I'm not that fat. It's like, yeah, you could always find a fatter person at Walmart. If you can't, you're not in a Walmart. It's a dream. That's how you know if you're dreaming about Walmart. If you can't find someone fatter than you, no matter how fat you are in a Walmart, it's not a Walmart. It's a sleep paralysis. But jokes aside, that's the false paradigm of politics. Like, the left just hates on the right just hates on the left, and they try to create self-worth through dunking on the other side, and they feel like that makes them more spectacular by just trying to bully the other side like they're 2-year-olds aimlessly. The point of me saying all this stuff is trying to wake people up to realize self-accountability, self-awareness in our own party, on our own side, in our own lives. That's the only way to fix the system. You can't just like dunk on the other side when your people are in on it. It doesn't work. Anomaly, would you take VP position with Vivek or Thomas Massey? Would I want to be their VP? Would I if Massey was made chief of staff, would I take a VP position with Vivek or Massey? I don't want to be in politics. No, I would not do that. But would I want? I don't. To be honest, I don't really trust Vivek. I don't care if he's vice president or not. But I wish him luck. And Thomas Massey, I like Thomas Massey, so I would root him on and try to do accurate reporting. But I'm not trying to be like a politician or anything. So honestly, I think that I should have a family and kids before I get into politics. If I ever get into politics, it's probably a huge no for me. But in general, you know, like I don't want to end up like Lindsey Graham. He's like a warosexual. He like makes love to like, bombs and stuff. And he just wants to bomb kids in Iran and Palestine. So, that's what happens when you have no wife, you have no girlfriend, you're almost 70 years old and you join politics and take a bunch of money from lobbyists. You end up just wanting to like stick your PP in a bomb and, hurt children, which is really gross and weird. So I don't, Lindsey Graham, like he should have followed my rule. And before you get into politics, you should focus on yourself, start a family, and then, consider that. Maybe a family's not for everyone, but Lindsey Graham and even like Tim Scott, it's like, all right, bro, that's just a self rule. I don't care what people do. I just think it's funny. I learned about Massey from Anomaly. People are like, what's your solution? It's like, Thomas Massey is a politician that I appreciate. So I try to highlight good things that he does that no one else is doing to get people to realize it. That's all I can really do. Anomaly would become a politician like Bernie Sanders? Absolutely not. I would never sell out. I would, if I joined Congress, I'd be the best member of Congress. I'm a winner. I'm a competitive person. So if I joined Congress, I'd be the least sold out. I think Thomas Massey does the best job. I think he's like the Michael Jordan of Congress, where he always explains how he votes. Even if he votes against you, he's the only politician that will explain why he voted that way. Some people, they don't explain it. Why did you give spying programs to people you hate? It might be because you took money. You're like, you don't even say why you did it because you didn't do it for the right reasons. Massey explains it. So if I was in Congress, I would vote ethically with my conscience, with my morals. And then also I would explain why I did it and try to explain the process to people so they realize what I was doing. I would be great if I was a politician. I try to be good at anything I do, but I don't want to do it. I'm 34 years old. Politics is not a game, in my opinion, for 30-year-olds. I'm 30. What did I say? I was 34. Sorry. I think 40s, 50s, that's a good age for politics, in my view, not 30s, but it's better than like 80. I think it's better to gain more wisdom and, like running when you're like 26. It's like, what do you know? How old's AOC? Like, she's an idiot, but it's like, whatever. Someone said Anomaly drives a Porsche 911. I seen it. Okay, rich boy. It's not true, but is that even a car? A Porsche 911? It sounds like a made up car. I know there's a Porsche, but is it really called 911? Probably not. I'm not really a car person, so I don't know. I remember one time, this is a true story. I don't remember what it was like this guy that followed me that was a videographer, right? He was a videographer and a photographer, and he goes, Anomaly, I'm going to be in Hollywood when I live there in Los Angeles. He goes, I'm going to be in Los Angeles. He's like, do you want a free video? Oh, it is a real car? Sure. Yeah, I don't drive it though, but he goes, can I film a video for you? Sure. Yeah. I love your music. Okay. So we filmed a music video, and he goes, this is my friend. He's just hanging out with me. Like, he's going to hold the camera. The dude was a nobody, right? He was the friend of a guy who begged me to like shoot a music video for me. And I was like, sure. So I met him in Los Angeles. We shot a music video. When I started saying that Trump was not that bad and like everybody hated Trump, he posted this huge Facebook thing. He goes, oh, I know this guy, Anomaly. He's a huge phony. He goes, I shot a music video for him. He didn't pay us. He didn't pay me. He walked to his, we dropped him off at his mansion, and he lives in this really, really nice apartment. And it was crazy because at the time I lived in Los Angeles, I didn't owe him money because I don't even know who he was. He was the friend of a friend who begged me to shoot it for free just to hang out with me. Then I didn't get in their car because I didn't know them that well. And I walk everywhere. So I walked home. I walked back. They didn't drop me off. They never seen where I lived. And in general, I lived in a shitty apartment that cost barely anything, that had like a bug problem that was literally like in the ghetto, that like my neighbor got broken into because it was in the middle of Hollywood and it was shit. So it's like the length people will go if they disagree with you politically. He made up this grand story about dropping me off at a nice apartment when I lived in a shit apartment and I never got in a car with him. And it's like, these are like, people will be like, oh, Anomaly drives a Porsche. It's like, I literally don't though. But someone said, you've never heard of a Porsche 911 and want us to trust you, politician vibed. I just said I'm not a car person. Like, my grandfather loved cars. He used to like wash his car and like he loved cars. I don't give a shit about cars. I drive a car. I like good cars, but I'm not a guy that knows anything about cars. I don't know about Lambos and Porsche. If you covered up the symbol and said, what car is this? I would have no idea, unless it was like a Ford Mustang from like 50 years ago. I know what those look like. It's just like, I'm not a car guy. I don't care. You know, it's cool. It gets me to where I need to go. But some guys are like, I sit in my bed and get hard-ons to cars. And it's like, okay, I'm not knocking it. It's a cool hobby. Like, cars are cool machines. I don't know shit about them though. Like, it's like, what car is that? I don't know. Name 5 Porsches. I could name like Ford Escape, Ford Excursion. Like, I can't name like luxury brands. I can't name luxury brands. I don't know. If you asked me right now, said I'll give you $1 million if you can name 2 different Lambos, I would literally have no idea what to say. Do I like Chip Roy? I like him more than the people who hate him, but I like Thomas Massey better than Chip Roy, but Chip Roy seems like one of the better ones. Didn't Trump try to replace him or something? He was like, Chip Roy needs to be replaced this election. And Trump said it after people could even register. And it's like, okay. Someone said I'm unfollowing. I remember this one. I used to play soccer in like, my whole team was like Hispanic and like spoke Spanish. I was like the only one who spoke English, and I only briefly understood what they're saying. But my one boy, Jaime, used to drop me off, and like he could speak English a little bit, but I mean, a decent amount. And he said, I tried to explain to him what I do. He's like, Anomaly. He goes, you like Trump? And I said, yeah, he's not. I was like, I do. I was like, he's not as bad as the media says. This was like 2017 or 2018. He's like, you like Trump? I heard you like Trump. I thought he might get mad at me or something, but I was like, I'm not going to lie to this guy. Like, yeah, he's cool. And he's like, okay. He's like, that's cool. And he goes, why will you make political videos? I go, yeah. He goes, why don't you make videos that people actually care about, like cars? I was like, damn, dude. It was like, he didn't mean to say it as a burn, but he like doesn't care about politics. So he's like, why do you do that? Like, why don't you make car videos that everyone wants to watch? Most guys like cars. Most guys like watching certain videos. I'm just like in the minority of guys that like, I don't know that much about cars, but my grandfather loved watches and cars. Like, I think it's a cool hobby, especially if you're like a mechanic or can like work on cars. I think that makes it even cooler. Like, you understand the mechanisms of cars, you can build it, you can see it. There's something for everyone. I'm more into like sports. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but like, I know a lot about sports. I like playing sports, watching sports. I think I'd make a good sport analyst. Someone said, I'm a Talmud reading degenerate. Keep God and Christ out of my mouth. Are you talking to me, or are you arguing with somebody? Because I do not read the Talmud, but sometimes people have arguments in the comment section and I take it personally, and they're like, I'm arguing with somebody. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, but be nice to each other. It's New Year's. Oh yeah. My joke was like, I was going to do a joke today and then I got to go. I was going to be like, Happy New Year's. Enjoy yourself, everybody. Have a good day. Just kidding. Pay rent, and pay taxes soon. Get it? Like, don't enjoy yourself. Just pay rent. No, anyway. Is this thing on? I can't hear the roaring laughter. I don't understand. It must be off. Let me see. Listen, guys, if you think I'm the coolest person in the world, clap. Appreciate it. No, stop. All right. Come on, you're too kind. So if you guys want me to use those, I could do it. I probably won't, but listen, guys. I'm just saying the Republican Party might just be, even Trump, controlled opposition. I'm just saying. Chill out, guys. I'm not trying to start a whole. So I just realized I have those sound effects. They're pretty cheesy, but I'm definitely going to use them actually at this point now that I remember that they're there. I was joking with my buddy because, like, with the, like Charlie was like, these Republicans who voted to build the new FBI building, a new building, they must be compromised by blackmail and the opposition's controlled. And it's like, all right, Trump did it. And it's like, Charlie won't say anything. So I just thought of a little bit in my head where it's like, I love the vaccine, patriots. Trump doesn't like the vaccine. He's just, it's a code. I don't care. He cares. He really cares. I took money from Pfizer. He would never sell out. I did. No, he's just saying he didn't because the deep state's listening and he's got to trick the deep state. No, I mean it. I hired them. Those are my boys. Oh my gosh, he hates them. He's fighting them. I'm not fighting them. He has to say that because Rachel Maddow is going to now twist the inverted truth. And I'm not crazy. You're crazy. And it's like, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm totally nuts, right? You're deranged. You have Trump derangement syndrome, not me, who makes up stuff that I don't believe and makes up excuses that he don't say. He's like, my vaccine saved the world. He means therapeutics. He's talking about Regeneron. It's like, no, I'm talking about Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. I bought their doses with your taxpayer money. Yes, I did. It's socialism, but Charlie Kirk, I'm a sugar daddy. He will not say anything. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was just the left. It was the left. How dare everybody spy on me with a FISA warrant? Ted Cruz is like, oh, that's so corrupt. I'm a fake Texan. Okay, Canadian guy, and then he votes for it. And then like Charlie Kirk puts him on a stage. It's literally like, if you just like stop taking this stuff so seriously, and every time you log into like someone's social media account, you just go, it's like calendar gate. You're a whore. I'm just trying to look pretty. What are you talking about? I'm trying to find my husband. I'm a trad wife. Why do they have OnlyFans? I'm showing my boobs. Whatever. It's like, would you wear that in front of your kids? Just play that in your head. And that's like the Republican movement. It's like people are like, just like TMZ drama. They're like dropping DMs. You got like moms yelling at each other. You're a whore. No, you're a whore. You have 5 kids from 3 husbands. You have no kids. It's like, holy crap. Like, you guys are savage. Like, I'm here just trying to analyze the news and have fun with it. You guys are like going for the jugular. Like, dude, these people are nuts. I don't want any of these people on my bad side. They're freaking crazy. It's like, is that how we're going to beat the left, by calling each other whores and, dropping DMs? That like, it's so dark. It's like, it's too much, dude. I just want to have a good time. Anomaly has an OnlyFans. I'd probably make more money than I do on my Patreon right now, to be honest. So I'm not, I won't do it, but people don't have that Anomaly love anymore. No, I'm just kidding. It's like a lot of competition. I could offer more. There's different things I could do. It's all good. I'll tell you when I'm broke. I'll be begging for money. Trust me, you'll hear me. So if I could pay my rent, I'm all right. But if I'm broke, I'm gonna be like, go fund me to buy a new microphone. I'll let you guys know. But I do appreciate the support, the super chats and all that stuff. It helps. It definitely like doesn't hurt. Let me see. You're 100% right. Now what? Seriously? I mean, we'll end on this note because it sounds corny, but in my opinion, like, if you could help yourself in a not selfish way, but in a somewhat selfish way, like if you could be a better person, a stronger person, a wiser person, a better person, whatever, it helps the world. And if everybody did a little more, the country would be better. Right now, you have the left making fun of the right making fun of the left, and everybody's a hypocrite. So nothing changes. So the true solution, in my view, is self-accountability. That's the only thing to do. And if everybody can't figure it out, then you got to do what's best for yourself and try to be a good person and do good work. Like, you can't let the system stop you. You have to rise above. So really, that's like my solution is like, I don't believe that the solution is to like worship Trump. And then when someone tells you not to, you like panic. It's like, that's the problem in itself, that you put that much like weight into that, and then people are like, well, I'm a Vivek fan. No, I'm a RFK guy. It's like, you're just I'm not trying to be a dick, but you're just a fan. You know what I'm saying? You're in the stands and other people are on the field, and you're bouncing back and forth between the teams because it's not a real game. It's not even like a real sport. It's like they're all similar, but you just keep like running back and forth, bouncing around like a ping pong ball, in a pinball machine. And it's like boing, boing, boing. Like, how is that the solution? So I think if people better themselves and enjoy themselves and don't take it so seriously, it's not that stressful. With that being said, it is really annoying and it can be stressful. And with our party, I really believe, I'm at the point now, as much as I don't like to be pessimistic. I'm not. Like, people think that other people doing stupid shit means I'm pessimistic. Like, I'm optimistic about my life, but if I'm pessimistic about the MAGA or conservative movement, people are like, oh, you're such a black pillar. Like, my life and my joy and my vacations and my family time and what I do and my workout routine and my business, I'm not reliant on worshiping a party that I know is fake. If your joy and optimism comes through believing in something that's not real, you're going to be screwed because it's not real. Like, why do people associate those things together? It's so weird to me. It's like, oh, I'm screwed if that doesn't happen. Why? What are you talking about? Like, I'm not pessimistic at all. But in my view, I do think that the conservative movement is going to fail and need to rebuild. And that doesn't scare me because I've known it's going to fail for 4 years because I realized they don't even believe in the First Amendment. If you don't have a strong stance in the First Amendment, and if Trump and DeSantis pass anti-First Amendment laws for a certain entity that calls you a certain name, if you notice that they're doing it because they're totally not doing it, then that's what it is. And I've known this for 4 years now. And that's why I've been hated in mainstream circles, because they realize that I know exactly what's going on. But anyway, it's like, with that being said, I think the conservative and the liberal movement at this point are going to fail because everybody acts like children. So it's like, I'm going to give an example that's easier to digest. If there was like an apartment complex and everybody was slobby, like 90% of the people acted like kids, they just like smeared stuff all over the walls. And I went there and was like, hey guys, why don't you guys act like adults? You know what I'm saying? And I came in the room like, why don't you clean up your stuff? Why don't you stop being so weird? And everyone's like, no, I'm a liberal, I'm a DeSantis, whatever, And I tried like 5 times and people don't want to listen. You're like, all right, well, it's like San Francisco. That place is going to suck. That's going to suck. I've come to terms with it. That's what I view the MAGA and conservative movement, the DeSantis and the Trump and the this and the calendar, and like everyone's fighting with each other. It's like a bunch of kindergartners, like some people make sense, but for the most part, it's a bunch of kindergartners and a bunch of very like childish people that are just like cult fans of a politician, and they cry when someone gives like a Christian perspective that they believe. And like, it's just like, so I don't believe that this stuff's going to succeed. I think it's going to be destroyed. I think it's going to fail. And I think it's destined to fail. And there's no way it's not going to fail. That's just my opinion. I can't see into the future. I can just make a guess. With that being said, the reason I think it's going to fail is because I've realized that most adults act like children. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. I'm only 34 and I'm shocked by the ego and the insanity that people act like at the ages of 40, 50, and 60. It's nuts to me that people act this way. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it at some points, but it is the way it is. And just like someone said unfollowed, really, of everything, that's the part that got you? Self-awareness, unfollowed. Me having a fragile ego, unfollow. Okay, like, all right, that's, of all the things, this is the part that bothered you? Insane. With that being said, I've just come to the conclusion that the Trump movement is a bunch of children, the liberals a bunch of children, left-wing media is a bunch of children, right-wing independent media is a bunch of phonies and opportunists who realize that the business model is to sell people the slop and they don't want the truth. If that's what it is, then I'm just going to leave it be, do my own thing, have fun, and build my life outside of that ecosphere or whatever it is. At that point, it's like, I wish people acted more adult, but when I watch DeSantis and Trump people fight, I realize that they're just as insane as liberals. Like, if you question anything to do with Israel, DeSantis supporters jump on you like Nikki Haley at a Palestine rally, even though you're not at a Palestine rally. You're literally just having an opinion. And if you don't just worship Trump, the Trump supporters he'll just be standing there, not moving, and they're pretending like he's dancing. Like, they live in like this weird reality. So it's like 90% of people in my field, they act like 5-year-olds. Left-wingers act like 5-year-olds. The View act like 5-year-olds. Like, some 5-year-olds are better than other 5-year-olds in politics when it comes to like you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, is the right better than the left? Like, they're both acting like 5-year-olds, but the Republican kindergarten big babies that are really 65, but they act like 5-year-olds are better. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get like the idea of like the lesser of two evils or whatever in politics, but I've just come to the conclusion that both sides are acting like 5-year-olds, and I'm not that old. You know, I'm like a 34-year-old man who acts like Confucius compared to a bunch of these, you know, grown people acting like man babies. So it is what it is. I can't change it. Some people want to hear it, some people don't. That's the world we live in. That's why the elites get away with it. There's a supply for the demand. In the conservative sphere, there's like, they can't give it to you if you don't want it, and people want it. So it's not their fault necessarily, although they're part of the system. Some people think that way. Like, all right, we'll just sell them what they want. Me, I don't think that way. It's like if people said, I want this shitty GMO beef from you, Anomaly, you know, and some people would say, well, they're going to eat it anyway. It's either me or McDonald's or whatever. It's like a lot of people would do that. Most people. I don't think that way. I don't live my life that way. And I'm not like just here for a buck. I'm like, no, I want to do something that I believe is good or I think is better than other stuff. But that's why it continues in this, whatever you want to call it, politics. So long story short, my favorite thing to say, apparently, I'm just planning accordingly. I'm not pessimistic. It's just like, that's what it is. I can't make Trump influencers act like their age, and I can't make DeSantis influencers act like their age, and I can't make liberals act like their age, and I can't make San Francisco people vote Republican and try to clean up their city or whatever. So it's like, am I going to live in San Francisco and pretend like it's awesome? No, that's not optimism. That's insanity. Like, people are mixing up optimism with insanity. They're acting insane, and then they're saying they're optimistic because they're make-believe playing with the country, like whether they're left-wing or right-wing. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, I see the trends. I wish it were different, but I'm not going to join the outrage loop and just play the same games. I'm going to point it out, laugh at it, enjoy myself a little bit, and like I've been saying, hopefully make some intriguing or interesting content. Someone said openly saying you're unfollowing is feminism. You know, I don't, it's feminine, but even it's mostly men that do it though. They're like, I'm unfollowing. It's like, all right. And then I say it's feminine and women will be like, hey, why does Anomaly hate me? I'm like, I don't hate you. I'm just, is it hateful to say Green, the lead singer of Green Day is very feminine? What does that mean? I don't know. He paints his nails and kind of looks like a woman. Some people are into that. I'm just saying, like, you can't make a joke anymore, but anyway, I don't care. Like, I'm unfollowing. All that self-awareness talk really ticked me off. I love having a fragile ego and worshiping another guy. All right, well, that's fine. Go to my Instagram comment section. I mean, a lot of people agree with me, but like the outrage of me pointing out, I'm going to play the video again, and then I'm going to roll out. The outrage I got from this video is astronomical. Like the grown men, like literally I have strong grown men melting down at this take, like so upset, being like, you used to wear a MAGA hat. I literally didn't used to wear a MAGA hat purposely, because when I defended Trump, I didn't want people to think I was MAGA, like some, sycophant. I wanted people to know I'm an American. I didn't even vote for him last time. I wasn't born and raised completely conservative, but I wasn't like a Republican my whole life. So I'm telling you the truth. So when I say what I'm saying, it actually means something, because I'm not another fanboy. And this guy is like lying about me in order to prove his point. You can't debate anything I said. So you literally make up something that's not true. And a bunch of people agree with you. They're like, yeah, Anomaly used to wear a MAGA hat. Where did I used to wear? None of my videos I wore a MAGA hat in, because I wasn't, and I didn't like say build a wall. I was like explaining things, trying to get people's respect. And that's why my videos worked. This is the part that annoys me too. I've probably created more Republicans and Trump supporters than all of my haters combined. And they want people to like Trump. I've done more for him than anybody. And I did it by not being like you. I did it by convincing people with a reasonable argument, by talking to people on the other side, making sense, and not seeing like a psychopath. And when you seem like a sycophant and a dick rider, people on the other side, they feel justified in their beliefs because you're so crazy, the same way that you feel justified in your beliefs because the left's so crazy, and it creates the cycle. So it's like the irony of the people that get the most mad at me, they don't even realize that I've done more because of who I am. And that's always how I got people to like Trump. I never just put on a MAGA hat and yell generic phrases. I did good journalism and said, I'm not that. I didn't vote for him in 2016. My biggest Trump video that I've ever had that got the most views, it started with, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I voted for, a third party. I'm not a registered Republican. At the time I wasn't. Now I am. I registered, I think I switched in like 2018 or 2019. But anyway, whenever I made that video, I didn't say, oh, I'm a MAGA hat wearing Trump. And people will say that about, oh, remember when you did that? No, I don't, because it never happened. Like, it's ridiculous. But here's the video that triggered so many people, so many grown, quote unquote, strong men just melt at having to face the fact that their guy is doing all the stuff that they're pretending, and their memes don't even make sense, because by rejecting MAGA, it doesn't mean you're working with Pfizer when the MAGA leader literally took money from Pfizer, hired Pfizer, and bought their doses with a socialist money. Does that bother you, strong men? Because then you're not internally strong. You're only externally strong. It's like driving a big truck. I mean, trucks are cool. Don't get me wrong. I think trucks are like I'm not going to say like the coolest thing, but like trucks are useful. Like if you're a farmer, like a truck, it's cool. But like some people just drive big trucks because they're like, I feel small, I'm big. It's like, if you drive a truck, I'm not going to hate on trucks. I think it's the most useful car, especially if you're rural. But, it's like, these are these strong guys that get so mad at videos like these. Like, how strong could you really be? So Green Day performed and changed their lyrics from redneck agenda to MAGA agenda and really ticked off conservatives. It led to this meme showing Green Day sucking the boot of big government Pfizer, Raytheon, and BlackRock. And while that's fine and I don't care, the weird part is MAGA doesn't seem to realize that all of those things apply to them and their leader, but the influencers that they follow and trust are either too stupid to realize it or too fake to tell you. Let's go through all of them. Pfizer. Trump took $1 million donation from Pfizer after saying he wouldn't take any corporate or donor money, hired a pharmaceutical executive Alex Azar to lead HHS, and a Pfizer board member Scott Gottlieb to run FDA. So keep sucking that boot, MAGA. Let's go to Raytheon. Oh, what do you know? Trump tapped former Raytheon lobbyists to lead the Pentagon. Of course he did. His entire cabinet was the swamp. How about BlackRock? They hit a record $6 trillion in assets held by Trump's tax law. Trump put Larry Fink, the CEO, on an advisory committee and sought advice from him during the pandemic. And when it comes to big government, the thing that Turning Point USA pretends to care about, Trump printed more money than Barack Obama, created new government agencies, ran up the deficit, bragged about it, and even during the pandemic said that the fake news was lying, that the governors made the decision to close their states, and he took credit for it. And oh, by the way, that new FBI building that Trump wants to build, I bet you didn't know it was reported that business partners of him that own buildings with him and Kushner were in the running for that contract, so maybe that explains that. Anyway, enjoy all those fake Republican influencers that have created a business model of false paradigm-controlled oppositions to keep you in the dark, run you in circles like a hamster, and then profit off your outrage. That's what bothered people so much, that video, really? It's like, we like to pretend that Green Day likes all the people that our guy likes. One of the dumbest comments I read was some guy was like, you're using articles from the past. Do you want me to use articles from the future? Do you want me to use articles from the present moment? Like, oh, it just got written a second ago. Oh, wait, no, it's from the past now. It's been 5 seconds. Like, you can only share articles from the past. There's no article from the future. It doesn't exist. I mean, maybe Nikola Tesla can invent something, but in general, it's like you're using like articles from like 2017 and 2016 and 2020. It's like, that's when Trump was president. I could find articles from 2022 too, but he was president at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about him when he had the power of the federal government. It's like, it doesn't make it. Oh, well, you're using it from then. That's when he was in charge. I've also shared videos of him in the last year or two acting like a fool, but he's just saying things. He's not doing anything because all he can do is talk now, because he's not the president anymore. He's just a normal citizen who owns a lot of, buildings and stuff, and apparently True Social and, Trump cards with his cloth attached that he selling for $7,000. That shit is so funny. He's like, oh my gosh, I think it's hilarious. I'm just like, and then is like, hey, Patriots. He's like, remember that suit that I wore during the really, 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 really bad mugshot that also made me tens of millions of dollars and made a fortune for my grifter class. Remember that suit that you don't even know the difference because all my suits literally look the same? I'm Donald Trump. I wear almost the same clothes every day. Just one tie's red, one tie's blue, but it's different. You might not know that, but my similar looking suits are very, very different. I'm a clean, rich man. I switch my suits out a lot. But the one that I wore during the ridiculously good looking, photo that I took with the Fulton County prison, really bad man. He's really bad, or a really bad woman. I'm not racist or sexist because it's a black woman, or I think it is a black woman. It doesn't make me a racist to say that woman is really, really bad and not as good looking as me, but it doesn't come from racism. It's just the truth. I'm Donald Trump. Anyway, Patriots, I'm selling a new NFT with a cloth attached from my really, really good looking suit for the really, really ugly lady who tried to put me in prison. And if you buy 47 cards for 47th president, that's what I'm going to be. If you buy 47 cards at $99, that comes out to thousands of dollars that you'll spend to get my ridiculously good looking suit. You can have a piece of Trump history. And people are like, oh my gosh, I got to buy them all. I'm not mad. Like, business wise, I don't give a shit what Trump, like, that doesn't, sell what you got to sell. Like, he could cut his hair and sell for $100,000. That'd be hilarious to me. But as far as like, am I not supposed to think that's funny? I can't, like, what? I'm supposed to look at that and be like, oh, this guy's super serious. He's really being persecuted. Like, it's just funny to me. I don't know. It's like, guys, he's like, remember when I sat in a chair next to Fauci, who I really despise, by the way. He's really small, but he has really small hands, and you know what that means. It means he's not a real ball thrower. Did you see him try to throw that ball? He looked like a little girl. No disrespect to women. I just think that Fauci throws like a little girl. Anyway, I'm going to sell a piece of my chair. When I signed the CARES Act, I signed the most communist socialist bill in history. I screwed over the country. I'm proud of it to this day. And all my supporters say I got tricked into the vaccine thing, even though I'm still literally proud of it, which proves I didn't get tricked because I still believe the same thing I believed then, which means I'm literally in on it. And I'm telling you I'm in on it. And I try to do things like put Lindsey Graham on a stage to show you how really, really in on it I am, but you idiots keep showing up. Anyway, I'm going to sell a piece of my chair for $1 million. It's like, all right. Somebody can buy it. Someone said, why take Trump if you hate him? Why take him? Where am I taking him? Are you accusing me of like taking Trump on a date or something? You're like, why take him if you hate him? It's like, what? Why take him? What do you mean? Like, take him where? Anomaly, why take Trump for ice cream if you hate him so much? Why are you going to take him to Dairy Queen? It's like, we're not going to Dairy Queen. I don't think Trump wants to hang out with me, let alone, talk to me or anything, which is fine. He doesn't have to. I don't suggest that's a thing we should do, but I don't. Where are we going? Did you see Jill Biden was wearing her Christmas tree outfit or whatever? I said, everyone's making fun of her like aesthetics or whatever. And, God bless the president's wife. You want to be real respectful in America, but she looks like the one homie that like has no interior design skills. That's like, yo, I'm going to decorate the Christmas tree. And then it just looks ridiculous. Like that's how she dresses. And they were like, Joe, what are you eating? And he's like, I like Italian food and chicken Parmesan. And she's like, and ice cream. And he's like, and ice cream. It's like, yeah. Just Joe Biden eating ice cream. Hey, can we get a real clap from the totally real people in this real room? I'm Joe Biden, and this is a joke that I'm totally not reading off the teleprompter. Thank you. Oh, man. Oh, shucks. Come on, Jack. I said, come on, Jack, and John Fetterman said to me, why are you talking about Jack? Where's Jill? where's you get it? Come on, Jack, you get it? Jack and Jill Biden, my wife. And then the QAnon people are like, oh my gosh, he just did wordplay. Jack and Jill Biden, Jack and Jill went up a hill to catch their pail of water. Jack and the beanstalk. Trump is going to take over the garbanzo bean industry to switch the GMOs out, pump in the Pfizer shots, get out the Moderna shots, put Johnson & Johnson on a stage. Johnson, Irving, Magic Johnson, watch the football game today, folks, because Donald Trump's going to beat up the deep state. Anyway, God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the new world. Wait, God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world, not the new world. Oh my gosh. No, they got me to say that. I'm sorry, folks. I made a typo. I made a Biden. People are going to be like, see, I told you. And I always said, it's like, God bless the new world order. God bless the Illuminati. And God bless. You're like, what happened there? Like, my bad. But anyway, appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Not the new world. Okay. I'm not reading that comment. That one was a weird one. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day. And I'll be back soon. Trust the plan, man.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this